Debbie.
Yeah, how are you?
Good morning from Seattle. Dr. Jimmy Hongbo, how are you?
Yes, go to English room.
Okay.
Linda, make sure you make me the co-host.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will.
And I see Rochelle from from Pittsburgh, Paul from Pittsburgh, and Bauer from Long Beach, and Tracy, I see, and Thomas. I don't know from where. Just see the Kunjok Burma and understood him. Javier Ugles.
Javier is in Guatemala. He's in Guatemala.
Javier is from Guatemala.
Guatemala.
Oh, I thought he's from Mexico, from Moscow.
Good morning, everyone. Today's teachings is a section of a much longer text that Khenchen Rinpoche composed years back. This text is a very long text. And today's teachings will be on the Bodhichitta section of
This is the title is How is this confusion purified? Is that right?
No, it's the Bodhichitta section, Rinpoche.
No, there's no special Bodhichitta.
Here, it's the pages the other day I gave you. It begins with clouds of loving kindness suffuse the mind sky. In the Tibetan page, the other day.
Bodhichitta, yeah, cloud, yeah, I see.
Yeah.
From there,
yeah.
Okay.
Bodhichitta.
Okay. Okay, now I see.
Yeah, I think the beginning Rinpoche is very profound. Translators might need more training to get all the technical terms.
This is, if we can go through this with a complete,
Oh, that would be most wonderful.
I think let's say whatever it takes time, to get a complete meaning of the Samsara Nirvana.
Right. That would be most wonderful. In the book, it was this section. It will start on 97, I believe. 97.
Yes, I understand this. I'm looking for the Tibetan.
On 98. Looking not so that's the start of the whole text. Nipa Sumpa.
The virtue is the number tick. Okay, need to not do the pump. Sanju still do the pump. I had to descend. Okay.
Yeah.
Cloud of loving kindness suffused the
the mind sky.
And their mystery, rain of compassion falls at just the right time. Okay.
So we hope that after you give us these 2 Saturdays, this section.
This is for 2 Saturdays.
Yeah, just 2 Saturdays, right? That's why we don't.
Next Saturday, okay.
Right, don't have much time.
Yeah.
Then later, if you have time, some other time, we should get teachings for the whole text.
Yeah, that would be, I think, I thought it's, So those who are interested
Right.
get complete idea of the
Yes, absolutely.
how samsara is constructed and
Yes.
how nirvana is constructed.
So today's teachings were requested by Dr. Jingmei Wangpo in Vietnam. And of course, now in the Zoom era, I think from now on, I think the world will start talking about before Zoom and after Zoom instead of before Christ and after Christ. It's BZ and AZ now. So in this AZ world, who no matter where requested the teachings, everybody will be able to join. And so we're glad that there is Chinese simultaneous translation, there is Vietnamese simultaneous translation. And so Rinpoche will start teaching right after the opening prayers. And so once Rinpoche starts teaching, then the interpretation will go simultaneously. Yeah. And so we can start with the opening prayers, which I think Ani is going to do. So
Linda, I can just get going. I have them in front of me.
the words might be different, Ani. I don't know which version they are using. If it is.
Go ahead, Anila.
Yeah, go ahead now.
Go ahead. Their screen sharing doesn't show up.
All Mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience, may they experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly will I establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood.
Damelia.
All Mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience. May they experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly will I establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious Buddhahood. All Mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience. May they experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly will I establish them in a state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious Buddhahood. Thus, until I attain enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma, and likewise in the assembly of Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas embraced the enlightened mind and progressed on the Bodhisattva's path, I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, give birth to Bodhichitta and apply myself to accomplish the stages of the path. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma, and likewise in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas embraced the enlightened mind and progressed on the Bodhisattva's path, I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, give birth to Bodhicitta and apply myself to accomplish the stages of the path. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma, and likewise in the assembly of Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas embraced the enlightened mind and progressed on the Bodhisattva's path, I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, give birth to Bodhichitta and apply myself to accomplish the stages of the path. To the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all mother sentient beings. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and causes of suffering. May they never be separated from happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. Unequaled refuge, ornament of the world, your fame pervades the 3,000 worlds. You are the victor Vajradhara, without a doubt. I bow at the feet of the Father, Jigten Sumgun. Continually I think of no one but you. Compassionate one, grant your blessing. Dispel the darkness that surrounds my heart. Please bless me so that I realize the unelaborate nature of mind. The ground is sprinkled with scented water and strewn with flowers. It's adorned with the second mountain, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon. As a Buddha field, I offer it. May all sentient beings attain the happiness of the Buddha fields. To the lamas who possess the 3 kayas, I offer the outer, inner, and secret offerings with my body, wealth, and all that is visible. Please grant me the supreme realization and enlightenment. Whatever merit I have accumulated through prostrations, offerings, confessions, rejoicing, beseeching, praying, for the sake of enlightenment of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. Om Guru Devata Kini Ratna Mandala Pratisa Soha. Please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the 2 vehicles and their combinations according to the dispositions and likewise the mental capabilities of sentient beings.
We have to unmute Rinpoche. Rinpoche, I meant that we end with the Bodhichitta, but actually start with the section that says, how is confusion purified? How is confusion purified?
Okay,
Yeah.
So this goes up to 10 o'clock, isn't it? Here.
It goes until 10 o'clock, right?
Oh, okay.
So we have this week and next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, how confusion is purified.
Yeah, that is a more complete starting from there. And so we go from there until Bodhichitta.
Up to
the So up to
How confusion is clarified. Yeah.
yes,
This is this beginning of this,
right. Impermanent
How
suffering.
is this confusion purified?
Yeah, there, right there.
Method which is eliminate confusion. Yeah.
Yes. Then
So what you are recommending?
yeah, from there actually until the top on 20. On top of page 20, all sufferings are dharma as waves. Purify, yeah, until the purify there. As much as you can go until.
So now we little bit is from the first, is it right?
Yes.
Okay, so not from Bodhichitta now.
Yeah. How is confusion purified? Basically, that section. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just one verse.
No. That whole section until middle of 21. If you look at page 21,
Yeah,
it says end of Bodhichitta section.
end of Bodhichitta. Yeah.
Yeah, until there. So 2 weeks from 16 to middle of 21.
So this is okay. No, we start from the first.
Yeah.
Okay, now we start from impermanence.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, in that case, it's good for me. It's good to read the Tibetan. It gives me a little better, deeper, as a way to understand. Even though I compose, so I just copy it. Now, as always, when we study, practice Dharma teachings, our focus must be to attain the Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. Sometimes, maybe not so sincerely, you don't feel it, but we have to cultivate that, get used to it. Because, now you all know enough that everybody in the samsara desire to free from suffering. Now, while they are creating the cause of suffering, still we desire to free from suffering. Or through the ignorance, while we are creating the cause of suffering, we just want to free from suffering. And we desire to achieve peace and happiness. Even those individuals who have no idea enlightenment or these things, but simply desire to have peace and happiness. So this is nothing to do with the spiritual or religion or any culture, you see. It's universal. It's even small insects, animals, and in the human beings who are very powerful individuals, who are very wealthy, you see, anybody, all but everybody, this is the universal. So our study of this Dharma teaching is basically directly focused on this.
So everybody wants to end the suffering, but we don't know how. Everybody wants to have peace and happiness, no, perfectly, but we don't know how to achieve that, you see. That's the reality nature, you see. So here what Buddha taught. So Buddha, you know, the enlightened one, is awakened one, awakened from the confusion. You know. So we're studying that Buddha's teaching, a method, how to free from all the sufferings and to recognize what are the cause of suffering and how we can eliminate. And what really means peace and happiness and how to achieve that. So that is the central focus of our Dharma study practice. It may be a long way, but it is the way we should follow. Because up until now, we have not achieved total peace and happiness. Up until now, we made so much effort, worked hard, you know. In many different ways, we have not achieved the total end of the suffering. So that's our focus. Since this is the case, we cultivate this mind to achieve complete enlightenment, Buddhahood, for the benefit of all sentient beings. You know. So this text, as Dr. Lai recommended, is partial. You know, sometime in the future, if we can get time, energy, if we can go through complete, it will be very useful. So then we can get a good understanding what or how samsara is constructed, on what base. It's not a simple thing. There are many causes and conditions. All these causes and conditions, we built the samsara. Now how to deconstruct this confusion? There's also many ways and methods, all this step by step, you see. So here, so how is this confusion purified, or how we can purify? So the method with which to eliminate confusion. It's all, you see, with something to do with the mind. The mind, as I mentioned many times, very complex. It's actually the mind itself is nothing, just empty. But from that emptiness manifests all these things. So it's awareness. You know, the mind is awareness. You know? So it's unpardonable. Only Buddha have fully revealed that. That's why it's called Buddha, awakened. You know? So we should expect that we individually look at your own mind. How, say, you know, you want yourself happiness. You want yourself peace. No, but it doesn't allow you. It drags you in the wrong direction. And you don't want it, but it takes you over there. No, you know it is not right. After studying some Dharma, you know, Dharma says these things. You know it, you aware it perfectly, you know, but there's something doesn't allow you to rest there. So that's it's called complexity of the mind. You know? Then sometimes you say, no, I forget it, you know, say, this is enough, you know, it's too much, you know, sometimes you feel that. But then there is no alternative, you see. If you give up, now you ask, what's the next for this alternative? And then you cannot find alternative. So you come back to that same kind of routine, you know. So this is what's called conviction. You know, we should have such a conviction, total understanding that. So this comes through the study, through the practice, not just through the prayers, you know, through the rituals. You can do some very beautiful rituals, prayers, with such a beautiful melodies, all these things. They are just, you know, it just, eases at that moment your mind. But still, deep and down, you cannot, you know, you cannot say happen that. So, these are what I'm saying is how conviction, total your understanding is very important. And with this, you know, we follow. So therefore, there are teachings there describe step by step. It is how to relate to our own mind. So here we have the first is, you know, the method with which to eliminate confusion. Any fortunate ones, fortunate means who have the precious human life and very interested in the study, practice the Dharma. And you met good teacher, excellent teacher, you know. And then one who desires relief from the great inescapable prison of cyclic existence. If you are really desire to free from the samsara, which is very difficult to get out of that, that's what's called inescapable. It's the prison of our confusion, not like the prison that we have in the country, you know. Within all these mental afflictions, confusions. So this where we are within that. You know? So it's the prison of cyclic existence, just keep going, coming back and back and back and back. You see, no matter what you do, all what you do still just in the cycle of the vicious experience. So that need to use the following methods, those coming step by step. The liberation path, how to achieve the path, we have to follow the path. No, how to achieve the liberation, we have to follow the path. That's called liberation path that cuts off confusion through the scripture and realization of the sublime Dharma. Scripture means we study, contemplate the meaning, what Buddha taught, like the three Pitakas, so forth. What it said, because Buddha's words are wisdom. It's not our word. Buddha's words are wisdom. So that we study, contemplate. Then we practice that. Put into practice is liberation. No, it's called realization. So in other words, you see, they are saying, walk and talk. We walk what we talk. See, in the West, we're saying this, Like, see, I'm talking, maybe I'm not walking well, you see. But we have to walk as much as we can what described, what taught, There are some individuals there, when you meet those individuals, they've studied Dharma quite a bit, read many books, so they are very scholar, and they can talk so beautifully, but their mind remains very ordinary, because we have not taught, we have not walked, we have not followed the path. So, here's this thing, scriptural realization of sublime Dharma. That this path, following this path, then the confusion is dispelled. So I just repeat this all the time, Our habit, the ingrained habit, the habit which is so deeply rooted, just we are one with that habit. To uproot that habit, then it's not that easy. It's within us. It's not outside, somewhere else. Somebody can say, oh, the teaching is so beautiful. I just, it's enlightening, The teaching maybe is very enlightening, but still in the mind is a long way for enlightenment, you see. So I'm just, now, since many of you, we know each other so well, so just from my sincere mind, sharing these things so that you can prepare, you see. You can prepare to work with that, Some newcomers, if I say these things, this looks very difficult, no, I give up, and they give up and then they run away, and then it's so unfortunate because as mentioned, there's no alternative. See? So we just have to work repeatedly, one after another. That's why, say, Milarepa, he spent his entire life in the mountain. See, from the gross confusion to the most subtle, to purify all this, then God followed the path. So this is what here, first paragraph mentioned this. Now we'll follow this step by step. First is impermanence, as you know, very precisely, clearly. So for all appearances, means all these manifestations, the form, what we see, the sound, what we hear, the smell, what we feel, and the taste, the food of taste, and the touch, and the mental experience. This all is called for all appearances. These composite, so these are composite with many causes and conditions. It's called interdependence. These all are interdependent. Nothing manifests independently, you see. You can see very clearly everything is interdependent, interconnected, interrelated of causes and conditions. This all manifests out of many causes and conditions. Like see here now, today we're using the Zoom. How much things are connected here, needed to create this, you see. And to make a cup of tea, how much causes conditions we need. So look at these things. So I mentioned before many times, this is universal, not a Buddhist philosophy. Some people say Buddhists believe in permanence, something like belief system, but it is not a belief system. It is reality, nature. Everywhere you go, every places, no matter what kind of religion they believe, what kind of culture they have, what kind of lifestyle they have, but this impermanence of these causes and conditions share the same thing, like the 4 elements, the fire, water, earth, wind, pervades entire universe. The entire universe, the planet, galaxies, stars, are functioning within these 4 elements. So it's all, just look at this. Then you say, yes, that's right. So to make something, it has to have all the causes, conditions, but everything is so impermanent, you see, changing moment to moment. Every moment is changing, see. So therefore, see, now just to get some understanding, all birth is followed by death. We all are born, young or old. Our final destination is death, which is so unpleasant. Nobody wants to die. So sometimes we say, don't talk about the death. let me live a life. Yes, we want that, but in reality, our end of the life is death. So just you look at this. There's so much to now describe about this, but just look at this. Then you see, all meeting by parting. All what we meet, like in the public gathering, we meet, and then we part, we separate. Separate in a many different ways. Separate, some, with the death. Some just separate, go. This all meeting by parting, all accumulation by depletion, means they consumed. At the end, they're all gone. Very poor people, they work hard and they accumulate great wealth. They become rich. From nothing, they become rich. From rich, they become poor. It shows impermanence. And all improvement means all the constructions, like road, aeroplane, train, buildings, all these constructions, all this made, is by dissipation. They dissolve, though they're kind of destroyed. Just look at, very powerful weapons are built. Very powerful weapons. And that the weapon themselves also one day dissolve. See, it's because it's impermanent. All in the world, how much they used weapons. Because each they use weapon that dissolve. Dissipation, dissipated. Look at these. So these four are very, I would say, we should say, comprehensive to reflect in the impermanence. Birth and death, one. Meeting and parting, two. All accumulations, say depletion or just int, and then all the constructions are destroyed or dissipation. So these four are very important topics put together to reflect on the impermanence. So look at these, meditate. Now, if you may ask why we should contemplate on this, that helps to reduce our ignorance. First, you see, as soon as when you contemplate on this, it reduces our ignorance. Seeing everything is like a permanent, real, concrete. So one, so I, one, that kind of mental, we have the feeling or the kind of concept or that kind of notion we have that can be purified by this contemplation. Once we could contemplate this way, then it reduces our attachment, craving, fixation. We're so fixed in one. So this is the one I want. It's real, Then when it disappears or it doesn't come true, we're so disappointed. And so much suffering is there. But if we have been prepared, these are part of this fall. So it happens without my choice because it's impermanent. It helps you to relax yourself. Make your mind more relaxed, more accessible, to get rid of the fixation, more accessible, to accept things, what happens. So these are such important point. They are very simple, but very profound and very effective. Please see that, We should reflect on this and live our life. Now, some people may say, I don't need to work hard because it's impermanent. That's wrong, We have to work hard, Because of impermanent, we have to work hard. We have to make effort. We have to work hard to change. Because it's impermanent, we can change. We can change our, inveterate propensity, the deeply rooted propensity habit. We can change it. So there's impermanence. Reflect on this. Now also next line is also about impermanence. All appearances of the past are like a dream, not here now. You see, as mentioned, the appearances, all the different experiences that we have. Like say this morning or this afternoon or say from yesterday, you can say this, There's all appearance of the experience of the past. Of the past, last year, last month, last week, yesterday, anything, which is past, It's all like a dream. It's like a dream. So you say, not here now. Only memory we have. We have the only memory that I have, like in the dream. When you wake up, oh, I have this dream, a beautiful dream, or say nightmare. Any kind of dreams you have, as soon as when you wake up, it's not there. So it's not here now. Like say, I had breakfast. No, not here. It's gone. See? So look at this. So what that means is don't attach so much. Don't fixate it so much. No. Reduce our attachment, fixation, grasping. Oh, just be now. Just be now. No. If you have made mistake, recognize that we made mistake, but purify. That's what we can do. If we have done something good, rejoice it and improve it, but there's nothing to attach. So this is it's very important, you see. Those of the future are like the horn of a rabbit, not here now. So tomorrow, next month, next year, is not here now. These are these analogies. You just take carefully. It's said, horn of a rabbit. Rabbit has a horn. Rabbit doesn't have a horn, you see. So it means it's not exist now. It's like a rabbit horn now. No, it's not here. We dream so much. I want to do this. No, this doesn't mean we don't plan. Yes, we have to plan, but don't so excited. Because many times we change. I have planned this. Now we need to change. It's not coming true. You see? This is like a horn of a rabbit. The future is not here now. So you say, not here now. Now we call now. This past is past. Future is not here. So now. The momentary now. So now this moment now is very momentary. See? It's like a ripple on a lake. When you throw a rock on the lake, it makes a ripple. The ripple doesn't stay in one moment. Just moment to moment, look at your clock. Second, just changing. No. So this is, you see, look at this, how everything is so impermanent. So meditate on this, contemplate on this. From this, we can change our habit. We can improve our awareness. We can see, this is how we can dissolve our confusion. Now, our confusion is fixation, seeing everything's like concrete. One eye, and then we're so fixated, say, past, future. And then within that, we just play, and how much ignorance, attachment, anger, pride, jealousy, sorrow, all this coming from, you see. Like say, when you lost your best loved one, and when that your loved one is lost, because of thinking about that, and the suffering is so much there. We don't need the suffering, but there's so much suffering because your attachment to that, our habit of the attachment to that, so ingrained, difficult to get out of this. Some are very depressed. So look at this and meditate. We can change, improve. That's what's called how to dispel the confusion. So impermanence is one of the very important topic to reflect on, which helps us Dharma practice very successfully. Your hard work, so just example, a builder built such an expensive, beautiful building, mansion, very expensive, very beautiful. Suddenly, earthquakes, and it destroys. And his heart is broken. Now what to do? So all my now wealth is here. I put, now gone. And there's so much suffering is there, you see. So now if you reflect on this, if I can change, it's wonderful, good to change. If I cannot change, what should I do? So reflect on this and meditate on this and let go of this fixation, grasping. So this is such an important point, So therefore, say, hold in your heart the quintessential sublime Dharma. So Dharma is the one that you need to study, practice. As I mentioned, this is not just a religious training, but training your mind to reflect how to reduce, how to purify these cause of suffering. So it's a very important point, this. Okay, then we have to follow the next. Now related, this about the impermanence, just I mentioned just briefly. So whole section is there so much. But what I said is just for our, to reflect on this, meditate, contemplate on this. I'm not just theoretically proving it, but I'm trying to explaining how to approach our practice, our meditation on this. Life goes on, you see, like that. Now next is the suffering section, you see. In the three miserable migration of hell being, 1, hungry ghost or hungry spirits, 2, and animals, there are called the 3 inferior realm in the samsara. So then you look at this. These sentient beings are powerless, have no power, no authority. to prevent their enslavement and killing. The hell beings are born in the fire, tortured in the cold ice, and the hungry spirits tortured by food, lack of food, drink, and animals you can see, they are killed. Very clear now how much we human beings consume the animals, means all the seafood and on the land. Even this, now you see, now I sometimes I saw they are now harvesting cockroaches and earthworm, you know. The harvest is millions of those, and they roast and introduced to eat. And this is consumption for human being. And maggots as well. We don't see them that they have a suffering. No. Because they cannot express. We just enslave them, kill them, persecute them. And how much suffering is there? Now you can see a chicken farm, poultry farm, fish farm, everywhere, all over the world. Look at their suffering. No. So much. Every day in the world, you see, we consume millions and millions of the life of those, from the seafood to the inland. And then they kill each other. They eat each other. Us as well, you see, but that's very small amount compared to we human beings consume our consumption. So just open the heart, look at their suffering. No? So see, their suffering is like wave of fire, never ending. The fire rages the forest and consume all the trees like that. Their whole life is consumed by that kind of suffering. So develop some kind of understanding. Look to ourselves, how much we cherish in our daily life. See, if somebody says a little bad words, we cannot tolerate. If somebody pinches us, we cannot tolerate. So look at this. And they are so much in the state of the suffering and confusion. And they don't have any wisdom how to get out of their suffering. No. So they are such a vulnerable in their state of suffering, confusion, ignorance. Look at this, you see. Oh my wise one, generate compassion for them. So now we who study this develop compassion. No? A sense of such kind of a sympathy, an empathy that they also desire to free from suffering. They also desire to have peace and happiness. Compared to that, we human beings are much better off. At least in the world, they're calling human rights. There's UN, United Nations talking about, say, this country, they are just genociding these individuals. We don't call in animal, See, so just sense of some kind of pain when the animals have, that insects have, just bring in our heart, develop compassion. This, you see. And next one, for our human realm, tossed violently by the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death. This is in our human realm. Of course, also in animal. In the animal realm, also you see they have suffering of birth. When they get old, see how much they're struggling. When they get sick, then die. But in the human realm, you see, we have this. At the time of birth, how much pain the mother takes, the child has, the baby has. And then when we get old, you can see very obvious, clearly now. You cannot see clearly, cannot hear well, cannot walk well. We forget very easily. Then there comes dementia. Alzheimer's disease, you see. Look at these things, you see. When you're young, you can memorize very fast. But now, to memorize when you get old, very difficult, I can see, just to memorize one verse takes few days, Not easy. When you are young, as soon as you hear, you memorized. Like these things you see. And then aging, you see. If you have read my book, Transformation of Suffering, and there in the section of suffering, translated the 4 songs of Milarepa: birth, aging, sickness, and death there. How Milarepa described about this. If you have the book, you just read it. So beautiful. Because Milarepa has such a great talent to express these things. So in each of those, you see this, he said, if you have not realized unaging, the aging of the suffering is beyond our thoughts, inexpressible, cannot express. Especially those individuals who don't have support or have a bad family. Then sickness, of course, there. In the West now you can see, I just mentioned many times, our retirement. Look at these. So this old age, sickness, and death. So those no need to mention, no? So in the ocean of samsara, with no bottom or shore, the samsara is bottomless samsara. No? Desiring happiness, but craving the causes of suffering. Where we desire for happiness, peace, our craving for the cause of suffering is so deep, as earlier mentioned. No? Just for example, now say this in our say, country in the United States. Last few weeks there was a shooting, you know. Those individuals, they are desperate. They're so angry, so upset by something. And to free from their suffering, they shoot. This is just precise example. And more suffering there, you see. That's what's called desiring, see, for happiness, but craving the causes of suffering. This is just example. So what you have to do is to look at the mind, purify, look at the suffering of these individuals. No, I need to purify my anger. I need to purify my desire. I need to purify my ignorance. This is the only solution for the freedom of peace and happiness, or free from suffering. That's the Dharma is about. That's what's called Dharma practice. See? So Dharma this was wisdom of the Buddha. Use sense of your awareness. Reflect the cause of suffering. And then allow yourself not to engage in the cause of suffering. No? Make your mind more understandable. So it's the mind. No? So that's how we can dispel the confusion. See? So looking at the suffering of the sentient beings, and we can purify and dispel the confusion. See? So these all steps, path how to dispel the confusion. So, oh, how wary are the sentient beings who have no protectors. So look at the sentient beings, they don't have protectors. No one speaks for them. So look at this. These are, especially those animals, sentient beings. So we individually look at this and purify our delusions and meditate on the sense of compassion. So reflect on the suffering is one way, maybe seems depressing. Sometimes people say, don't talk so much about the suffering. It's depressing, you know. But for the Dharma practice, it's a very important instrument to develop compassion, especially indomitable compassion. You know the facts of the suffering of the samsara, especially the lower runs. So compassion profoundly can develop uproot within us. And this is the way how to eliminate our confusion, the cause of suffering. This way how to eliminate our desire, our anger, hatred, aversion. So meditate on this, see. Then next, causality. It has talking karma now. This is, of course, these are such important kind of subject that we pay attention so much. Because the causality is such a profound, difficult to understand. So here I said, none of us can prevent the result of proceeding causes and conditions. Means the cause that we have created. The karma cause we have created, nobody can prevent that because we have created the cause. Just for example, at the time of Buddha, in the Buddhist world, there's no greater than Buddha who has absolute wisdom, compassion, who perfected the Bodhichitta. No. One of his disciples, he gave teachings and achieved the Arahat. No? If you know the Arahat, his name was, in Tibet it's called Kurchum. But he died without hunger, without food. All the Buddha's disciples, like Shariputra, Ananda, they all tried their best to feed him. But at the end, he died with hunger, without food. Starving, he starved for death, without food. So Buddha was there at that time. And then one of the monks went to Buddha. Buddha also tried his best to feed him. But at the end, then a monk went to Buddha, he died. Very sad. Buddha said, yes, I know. He created karma long time ago. He caused to die his mother without food. Because of that cause. Now here, even when he achieved Arahat, he died without food. So that's what I said, nobody can prevent that. So what is showing here is we have every possibilities. We have every opportunity to choose what kind of cause we should create. So it's very important, first we understand all the causality, and then follow the path. That's what Dharma practice is about. See, so he's here saying, they are infallible for us all. So, the karma cause that we have created is infallible. We cannot ignore it. We cannot forget it. It's just there. It will manifest when the conditions are met. No? So, furthermore, there is movement cycle causality. So, the arising of variegated, this is very important. Sometimes we say karma or pre-exist, kind of created from other lifetime, or somebody created. It's not me, you know. We have that kind of idea. Karma is something, bad thing, made somewhere, some in the past lifetime. It's kind of like belief system. But here saying, every second, every moment, we're creating karma. Every action we make, it counts. No? So that's why we have to look at the mind. What kind of motivation? There's called 10 virtues, and there's called 10 non-virtues. Carefully look at them. What are those 10 non-virtues? What are those 10 virtues? This is not a Buddhist belief or Buddhism. This is how whole world creates. A place where there are more kind of mental afflictions, mental agitations, engages more negative activities. They are vulnerable more for suffering. You see, a place where there's more peaceful, more virtuous thinking is called meritorious virtuous thinking. There are more chance for peace and happiness. See? So moment to moment, look at our mind. The moment you have some sense of compassion, some sense of loving kindness, and there is a chance you have a smile on your face, you see, and there's a chance for peace and happiness. The moment when your mind is occupied by these all mental delusions, just that moment, there's a mind is so narrow, and the suffering is there. You see? So it's called moment to moment, every second, every moment, we're making karma, cause. Just like in a family, when the fathers and mothers, they're taking care of the family well, out of compassion, out of responsibility, treating all family better. The family is very healthy, physically, mentally. See? When the parents, they are so confused themselves, they are aggressive to their family, then whole family, there's a confusion. There's a lot of nonsense, not so harmony. There's a suffering. No? The family, they don't like to come in the house. They want to run away, So that's what is a karma. It's not a mysterious thing. It's not something like subconscious or something psychologists, they're talking about psychiatrists, they're talking about, subconscious or this, that, it's just very clear in our daily life. So like virtue, non-virtue, please carefully just, pick up those words, memorize, and then contemplate. These are nothing to do with any religion, any culture. No. It's universal. Doesn't matter what kind of culture that individual has, religion has, they have. But the 10th virtue is always appreciated. A cause for peace and happiness for the individual and for the society at large. And 10 non-virtues are the cause of confusion, suffering, disharmony for the individual and the society. So this is very important we to study. And take the responsibilities. And then that awareness should go to all the society. We practice individually ourselves and then share with others. See, Samsara Nirvana as the self-expression of virtue and non-virtue, you see. Samsara, when you see there's a lot of confusion, a lot of suffering there, is expression of the non-virtue, expression of the confusion. When there's peace, harmony, it's the expression of the virtue, holistic action. And nirvana is, of course, directly, is the expression of the virtue, unafflicted virtue. So these are to just reflect. I'm just sharing, and then you all just reflect on these. These are the very important. If you're killing an insect, when you're saying mantra, Om Manbam, killing insect, what it helps the animal, So we're saying millions of mantra for world peace. And in your mind is in the wrong place. What it helps? All doesn't get better. All gets better when we practice this. See? So please now reflect on this. We as a Dharma practitioner, basically not just Dharma practitioner, those who we need peace and happiness, those who desire to free from suffering. These are the things. Everybody can do it and should do it because we want to free from the suffering. And see, next verse is also about the causality. In the absence of cause, the result is total failure. Is that beautiful poem? It's a metaphor. When there's no cause, no matter how much you expect the result, it's total failure. You know total failure? You don't have idea of what the tortoise for? Its total fur is non-existent. Non-exist, you see. So when there's no cause, there's no result. When there's no cause of suffering, the suffering is not exist because there's no cause. In a field, in the field, if you don't cultivate or sow, like say bean, no matter how much you expect, oh, I hope this field will grow a lot of, that kind of, like say rice, or say like wheat, or anything, corns. If you don't plant the seed of corn, no matter how much you expect to get the corn, this year I hope really, my field will grow a lot of corns. And you have not planted the seed. It's a total fur, There's no result. So this is very important, you see. This very beautiful metaphor, So it's saying all possible happiness and suffering arise from the virtuous and non-virtuous causes and conditions. Therefore, whatever happiness is coming is because you have planted the seed of the virtue. You always have been kind, generous, doing good things, helping others. You become the source of peace and encouragement. Everybody will appreciate, will say, this individual is always kind. Wonderful person. Doesn't matter what that person believes in a religion or not. If that person has been nasty, aggressive, to your neighborhoods, and all that area will say, this person, careful, this person is very nasty. Don't go around there. Becomes a cause, a source of confusion, suffering. You see, that is what's called karma, causality. Oh, see, this is the mode of abiding of all phenomena. You see, it's not somebody's belief or somebody's culture or religious tradition. None. It is how things constitute in the world, in the country, in the family, in the individual's life. So the intelligent one, so pay close attention to causality. See, we must pay attention to the causality. That's our responsibility. Make every effort to take care of the cause. That's our Dharma practice. And this is not just for only Buddhists. This need to go around everywhere, all over the world. And if we make effort this way, Dharma can help in the whole world, in the whole society. And if we do this way, Dharma will maintain in the world, not just as a religion, but as a universal value. See, we need to make the Dharma as a universal value, especially nowadays when we have this kind of opportunity. Zoom, through this we can communicate everywhere. Now here you see we have audience here, our audience from Vietnam, from Malaysia, from Singapore, from United States, from South America, Central America, from Europe, everywhere. So I can communicate with everybody, you see. If I talk Buddha's teaching as a Buddhist religion, then I can talk just only for some individuals, not to everybody. Those who believe that. But this I can share to everybody. And I have no reservation on this. I share this openly for everybody. So it's very important with now Dharma practitioners have this kind of responsibility so that we can help everybody. So from this point of view, then of course we will come later, but the idea of bodhicitta comes. Bodhicitta is a universal value, the altruistic thought. That's what Buddha taught, you see. Actually, Buddha taught this way. Not now there's some kind of scholars, some great philosophers, they talk about the Buddha's teaching as a Buddhism, a Buddhist philosophy. But Buddha taught the teachings not as a Buddhism, not just only for Buddhists, but taught for all the sentient beings. Because if we human beings are much better, if we human beings are much better off, then life of the animals will be also much better. Because all the animals, sea mammals, they are under the mercy of human beings, Then we may not enjoy so much seafood, Otherwise, we enjoy so much seafood, Then these four, they are enough. These are three. First, you see, sorry, wrong clock. First, reflecting on the impermanence, reflecting on the suffering, and reflecting on the causality. And the next is not here because I put in another place, but need to reflect on the precious human life. Those who are interested in this kind of teachings, it's called precious human life, has the 18 favorable conditions. See, 8 leisure, 10 endowments, and then confidence, wisdom to the causality, Buddha's teaching, or to have the wisdom, understanding of the Four Noble Truths. It's precious human life. So these 4 are called the 4 common practices. In Theravada system, they appreciate these 4. All Mahayana traditions, they appreciate these 4. And all Vajrayana teachings, they appreciate these 4. So it's called common. So because of this, now we need to make effort how to free from samsara. These 4 topics will give us such a fundamental wisdom about the reality nature of the samsara and how to free from suffering. So next comes the refuge, you see. Now, to cut off confusion, take refuge from the bottom of your heart in the perfect Buddha or perfected Buddha. The Buddha is now the one who knows directly and precisely all Dharma. Means this is all phenomena, not what's called Dharma, all phenomena. Gross means those are very obvious, no? And subtle, those are not obvious, hidden subjects. And the hidden, you see, that's the Buddha here describing. Buddha is not just a statue, no, a painting. Here, Buddha hears an enlightened mind, who is fully enlightened, purified all the obscurations, and perfected all the excellent qualities, knowing everything. So we take refuge in the Buddha in that way. No? Statues are just reminding. We say this is Buddha, because every Buddhist country have their different statues. They make their own way, you know. So statues are not the Buddha. They are representing, reminding us, Buddha is the enlightened mind. So we take refuge in that, you see. Because up until now, we took refuge in our confusion. When confusion manifests in the mind, like say our desire, our aversion, our pride, our jealousy, when they manifest in the mind, we took refuge in them. We follow under their instruction. We follow them day after day, life after life. And that's why we cannot flee from suffering, because we're within the confusion. So now we to free from that confusion, we take refuge in the Buddha, as described here. And the sublime Dharma of scripture realization. See, scripture, as I mentioned earlier, scripture, the text, Buddha's teaching, the talk that we study, contemplate the meaning, and then practice and realize. That's called Dharma, which protects us from the confusion. So all the Buddha's teachings are Buddha's wisdom that Buddha has conveyed, to us through these Dharma teachings. And in the Sangha of Aryas, Arya means noble, who are above the ordinary people, above the samsara. There are many different types of Sangha, Arhats, Bodhisattvas. So these 3 are the refuge we take to free from the confusion. Next is now describing from the ultimate point of view about the refuge. See, Dharmakaya is the absolute Buddha. Dharmakaya. You know, Buddha has 3 kayas. Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, Nirmanakaya. So Dharmakaya is the absolute Buddha, has no form, only wisdom. That's why I said co-emergent luminosity. co-emerge totally, one with all the perfect wisdom. That's called luminosity. Then Dharma is sublime Dharma, free of product, cessation, and elaboration. So that's the Dharma. It's not born. Its product means not born, neither cessation. Free from elaboration. It's like the space. That's the Dharma. Dharma. When we study this, practice this, we can achieve the Dharmakaya. See? Then, and the Sangha of Aryas, highly accomplished, great Sanghas, beyond coming and going, you see, free from elaboration, free from all the confusion, as called coming and going. Embodying them all is the ultimate refuge. So these Buddha Dharma Sangha are the ultimate refuge that we take refuge. One's own empty, luminous mind, your own mind, your total nature of the mind. When you look at your mind, it's empty, it's clear. That your mind embodies Buddha Dharma Sangha. When you realize this, you become Buddha. So Buddha is not outside. So in the sutra said, Buddha said, when you realize the mind, that's the wisdom. Don't seek elsewhere the Buddha. Don't seek Buddha elsewhere. It's within you. But before that, first we study, practice, take care of all our mental afflictions, purify all the mental confusions. So that's the refuge. Okay? Clear? Yeah, take a deep breath first. Yeah, how much you understood so far? Meditate. And rejoice, you see. So these teachings are so at the point. Oh, I'm so happy, unfortunate. Reflect on this, meditate. Now, next, the teacher, guru, We're talking so much about the gurus. What kind of guru we should have here? Now, guru is here now describing compassionate. This is such a beautiful metaphor. It's a metaphor, not just regular hand, hands, and these things. It's a compassionate hand holding the hook of loving kindness. Compassionate hand. Compassion means desire, sentient beings free from suffering. That's compassion. Loving kindness means desire everyone to have peace and happiness. So that gives the love, peace and happiness. So that it becomes a hook to sentient beings to come closer. And that teacher who has the hook of that loving kindness is held by the hand of the compassion. It's a very beautiful metaphor. The face of Bodhichitta, emblazoned with the measure and manner marks, radiating the face to all sentient beings. As soon as when the sentient being sees that such great teacher, it eases their suffering. It brings the peace and happiness in their mind. The face of Bodhichitta is known, the face of Bodhichitta, emblazoned with the major manner marks, matured from energetic engagement with the scriptures and realization. Means, you see, not just title, or he or she has a very high title, and also title of holiness, title of eminences, title of venerable, title of Rinpoche, not the title, but the quality. See, matured from energetic engagement with the scripture means who have studied many scriptures. Buddha's teaching, scripture, Kanjur, and great kind of commentaries written by like Nagarjuna, Asangas, and then like Milarepas, Kambupas, like those great teachers, commentaries, have studied them, have the ability to touch these teachings because they have studied, but because that individual guru have studied all this Kanju and Tenju, have such great wisdom. So this teaching says this have so much. And not only that, then they say, realization, experience those teachings. Not like a university professor who has a high title, but if one has no practice, no realization, doesn't help. So need a realization, means have made a practice, went to retreat for many years and experienced those teachings, what he or she has studied. So it is true, you see, this scholarship in the scripture, and realization in the practice. This is such very important. Then, as earlier mentioned, who has the compassion, loving kindness, means Bodhichitta is there. Skilled in the means, then that teacher has such a great skill to explain the teachings, to lead the sentient beings or practitioners onto the path, step by step. Means that to that skill in means, to that teacher, then respectfully adhere to this kind of spiritual mastery. You should attend to this kind of great teacher, guru. No? So that is the teacher. And also you see, when you go to university, in the university, what kind of teacher you have? Professor who taught. Depends to the, such a gifted professor who teach the class. Say, this university is very good to go because they have such great teachers. Not the building, not the facilities, but the teachers. The university becomes so famous because of the teacher they select. So same thing. It's just no, it's not just religious training. This is a universal. Especially this here, unlike university in the other country, this teacher has responsibility, practitioners to lead, go beyond the samsara. We have to understand the demarcation of the samsara and nirvana and cross the demarcation of the samsara. Lead to the nirvana, enlightenment. So the teacher has such great responsibilities. Just having high title, sometimes it's confusion. It's confusing. Has such a high title, has no qualities, a lot are confused. Therefore, you can see there are a lot of different groups. First, they become so big. Later, there's all scandals, problems. You see, you can see that. So these are I'm just sharing to you why these spiritual teachers are so important to delete, to dispel the confusion of the samsara, and who can lead the wisdom towards the enlightenment. Okay. And next, 3 trainings. Okay. In a wide field of renunciation. So now, earlier mentioned, renunciation doesn't mean, as I usually say, not eating food, not wearing clothes, no house. We're not talking about that. Renounce the cause of samsara. Renounce the mental afflictions, our ignorance, confusion, bewilderment, our self-grasping, attachment, aversion. So renounce those. So has such a strong renunciation. This you see in a wide field of renunciation. It's also a beautiful metaphor. Clear away the rocks and the weed of non-virtue, you see. So, and when you want to grow a beautiful flowers in your field, you have to get rid of all the weeds, the rocks and all the other weeds. Otherwise, the flower will not grow. So say, clear away the rocks and the weeds of non-virtue. Plant potent seed of the 10 virtues. You see, potent seed has a total ability, capacity to grow. So it's a potent seed of the 10 virtues. Plant that seed, 10 virtues. Wrapping the fruit of 3 trainings. Then from there, you can expect the 3 training will manifest. So what they are saying is on the foundation of the renunciation, avoid all the 10 non-virtues and cultivate all the 10 virtues. Within that, then you have all the basic training. You have all the possibilities to have all the training. So next verse, next verse he said, moral conduct. So now there's 3 training is moral conduct, samadhi, meditative concentration, special insight, critical insight. You know, in Sanskrit, Shila, Samadhi, Prajna. So these are three training. Okay. So first, the moral. You see, moral conduct is bountiful when desire attachment has been dispelled. Which means the obvious gross attachment, desire. Of course, we have a lot of work to do to purify the rest, but first get rid of all those. Then, on the basis of that, samadhi is happy, body-mind, after one is free of anger, the gross anger. When there's so much aversion in the mind, you cannot meditate. There's very little chance to achieve the samadhi. So when the angers are obvious, gross angers are purified. When you establish your mind in kindness, then there is a place to achieve the samadhi. See, meditative concentration. So on the foundation of the moral conduct, and then the mention of the samadhi is built. See, and then insight wisdom arises when delusion has been defeated. You see, delusion means ignorance. When the ignorance, if you ask when the ignorance is defeated, the special insight, critical insight is manifested. When the critical insight is manifested, the ignorance is defeated or uprooted or destroyed. See? So, insight wisdom arises when delusion has been defeated. Cherish the three training, the foundation of the conqueror's teaching. So these three are called three training. So important to our practice, you see. As a matter of fact, even when you cook, you need these three training. First, you need such good moral conduct, discipline. Moral conduct means discipline. When you cook, you need to have such a mindfulness, samadhi, you know. Then on that, then you have awareness, wisdom, whether it's cooked, not cooked, how much salt, more, less, taste, all this, you see. When you drive, you need these three training. Anything when you do, you need the three trainings. Likewise, to achieve Buddhahood, these three trainings are indispensable. And these all three are appreciated by all the Buddhists. Not just Vajrayana, not just Mahayana, or not just Theravada. All the Buddhists, everybody agreed and appreciated on these three. So how we are doing? We are doing good. So now here you are getting the essence of the Buddha's teaching. But I must have to touch one verse from Bodhichitta. Even the time is now passing, you see. Bodhichitta, cloud of loving kindness suffuse the mind, sky, and their mystery rain of compassion falls at just the right time. The Bodhichitta harvest fills up the storehouse, dispelling the ignorance, famine of the limitless migrators. See, It's a beautiful metaphor, you see. In the sky, when there's a cloud, beautiful cloud, it's loving kindness. The cloud of loving kindness in the sky, filled, like in the summer, you see, suffused in the mind of the sky. And their mystery rain of compassion falls at just the right time. Then from that cloud of loving kindness, rain of compassion manifests to the right time. See, just at the right times when the rain needed, you see, in the field. Then when the rain falls on the ground, the Bodhichitta harvest fills up with the storehouse. You see, then the Bodhichitta of that harvest will grow perfectly, like say rice, a grain, corn, anything vegetables, whatever you plant the seed will grow perfectly, There's a storm. Then dispelling the ignorance, famine of the limitless migrators. Then from there, benefit all the sentient beings. See. As an analogy, the cloud brings the rain soaks the ground, grows all the harvests, and feeds all the people in that area. Likewise, the loving kindness, when you have, there's a compassion. When there's compassion, you can develop bodhicitta. And then when you practice the bodhicitta, you can benefit all the sentient beings. See, do you agree this is beautiful poem, isn't it? You see, you have to read this again and again. Bring in the mind. It just pierces your heart, you see. It helps to kind of get rid of all your delusions. You look at the outside, when there's no cloud, there's no rain. When there's no rain, nothing will grow. When there's no love, there's no compassion. When there's no compassion, there's no bodhicitta. When there's no bodhicitta, it's now absolutely there's no peace and happiness. There's no need any kind of reasoning on that. It's just directly, it makes the perfect sense. Look at these, meditate, enjoy the Dharma. And you should feel you are so fortunate to have these precious Dharma teachings. I have to read the next one. No matter how much influence, magnificence, wealth, and renown one has in the world, there are some individuals, some are so famous. They're called, they're called rich and famous, Some are very rich, billions. Some are so famous. Some has very power, has great power, ability. Said, know that these are impermanent. We should know these are all impermanent. Don't be attached so much to this. What we should do is, first is, know that these are impermanent and fall away quickly and so without attachment to them. See, it doesn't mean you should not be rich, famous, but so don't attach so much. Don't be slave by yourself for these things. But what we should do is that habituate bodhicitta, which is of benefit to oneself and all others. So work hard, make every effort, make sure you have cultivated bodhicitta and infuse in your mind the bodhicitta. That's the way how to work hard. You see, don't work hard in the wrong place. No, as earlier mentioned, no, when there's no cause, there's no result. If you don't work for a cause of peace and happiness, it will not happen. But here, if you make effort, every effort to cultivate, to exercise, and build the strength of bodhicitta, and all the peace and happiness for yourself and others will be there. And next, I cannot escape the verse. Now you see, following the flight path of all conquerors of the three times means Buddhas of the three times. Now, following the flight path means that you fly in the sky, that all the Buddhas of the three times, past, present, future, they follow that kind of path. That's jumbo jet of the bodhicitta. See, jumbo jet of relative and ultimate bodhicitta. Beautiful metaphor, you see. Soar through the sky, then you fly in the sky. On the wings, the two accumulation, the flight has two wings. Of course, actually it's the engine was the fly, but it has two wings. So to perfect your bodhicitta, we need two accumulations. The accumulation of the merit, accumulation of the wisdom. Those two, you see. The wings, the two accumulations, and land smoothly without delay at the Four Kayas airport, you see. So how beautiful that is, you see. You just can understand just by reading this. No need so much explanations. This the modern, you know, this is the modern poem, you know, using this metaphor. You know, you don't see the modern teachers writing like this kind of poem, you know. They write, let's say, you know, the universal king, the monarchy, the seven royals, and the chakras, you know, the wheel chakras, you know, like this. But that's I think not so relevant nowadays. Nowadays, the aeroplane, you know, the aeroplane, you know, so the bodhicitta is the flight of the three times Buddha. So all the Buddhas, they practice bodhicitta. The past Buddha, they practice bodhicitta. The present Buddha, they practice bodhicitta. The future Buddha will practice bodhicitta and they will attain Buddhahood. And we should practice that. And then go through, land to the airport of the Four Kayas. Thank you. Time is over. Here, I say, coming. So how everyone is doing? Good. Okay. Now enjoy the Dharma and just take a deep breath. Inhale fully and exhale. And just reflect what we went through these 2 hours. So this is the homework, please you take during this next 6-7 days. And with this, you meditate, you practice, you chant. You chant with these practices. Chant prayers, chant mantras with these practices, dipping in the mind. Now, we say, let us say prayer, world for world, peace. May the world may have a peaceful, may everyone has a good health. We're just saying the prayers that what we desire for. But we are not doing enough for the cause of that. So here, we're putting action, creating the cause for world peace, creating the cause for good health. See, so you say, prayer, may I have bodhicitta. May I perfect my practice of loving kindness, compassion. May I free from the 10 non-virtue. May I have the 10 virtue practice. Say these things. Okay? This is a very important point. Then sometimes when we say prayer, world peace, good, everything, then you say, where are all the Buddhas? They're supposed to have so much power, Well, the world is such a place now, very difficult place. Where are those powerful deities, Buddhas, where are they, We complain. You see? So today, these are such important cause point. Okay, thank you everyone. Then please say some dedication prayers. Yeah, chant that. Who's chanting? I don't hear.
Catherine is.
Yeah.
I think she has to unmute. Yep, she's still muted. There we go.
Who's leading?
Catherine.
Catherine.
Okay. There she is. She had to unmute.
Yes, Catherine, go ahead.
Glorious, holy, venerable, precious, kind root and lineage lamas, divine assembly of yidams,
Yidams and assemblies of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, yoginis, and dakinis,
dwelling
in
in
the 10
directions. Please hear my prayer. May the virtues collected in the 3 times by myself and all sentient beings in samsara and nirvana, and the innate root of virtue, not result in the 8 worldly concerns, the 4 causes of samsara, or rebirth as Shravaka or Pratikya Buddha. May all mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me and mine, obstructors who harm, misleading maras and hordes of demons, experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly attain unsurpassed, perfect complete, and precious Buddhahood. By the power of this vast root of virtue, may I benefit all beings through my body, speech, and mind. May the afflictions of desire, hatred, ignorance, arrogance, and jealousy not arise in my mind. May attachment to fame, reputation, wealth, honor, and concern for this life not arise for even a moment. May my mind stream be moistened by loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, and through that may I become a spiritual master with good qualities equal to the infinity of space. May I gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra in this very life. May the torment of suffering not arise even at the time of death. May I not die with negative thoughts. May I not die confused by wrong view. May I not experience an untimely death. May I die joyfully and happily in the great luminosity of mind as such and the pervading clarity of Dharmata. May I, in any case, gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra at the time of death or in the bardo, until the end of samsara. By the virtues collected in the 3 times by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, may we and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Dragungpa Ratnashri, who is omniscient, Lord of Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation. You who are richly endowed with the Dharma knowledge, who, through reflecting and meditating, have actualized the self-aware absolute reality and shine with the 100,000 light rays of ethical discipline of the Buddha Dharma, may you, Kenshin Ratnatwaza, live long.
Linda, we cannot hear Rinpoche. It's muted.
Here we go.
Yes.
Yeah, I was not talking.
Oh, okay.
I was just I talked enough now.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
You talk too much, maybe.
No. Thank you, Rinpoche.
Yes. Everybody, please practice. Thank you, everybody, everyone. Just have a good life, peace. Practice Dharma.
And see everyone next week.
That's right. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Honlai.
Yes.
Dr. Honlai arranging this program.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Okay, goodbye.
Everybody's silent today. Everybody's silent today.
This is very late. Midnight.